Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the 5 to 9 Job podcast. Today's episode is all about failure, why it's necessary, how to embrace it, and how it ultimately pushes us towards success. This concept is brilliantly articulated by Denzel Washington in what he calls falling forward. And we will later have a talk from him to illustrate this better. But just to have a prelude to this, we often hear about successful athletes, inventors, and entrepreneurs, but what we don't hear, what we don't remember, are going to be their failures. In the talk, he relates it to this thing that Thomas Edison had so many failed experiments, but we remember him for actually breaking ground and developing the light bulb. He makes the argument that the setbacks, the rejections, the moments of doubt, all of these shape great people into winners. They shape them into the winners that we now celebrate. They shape them into the people, the figures that we now celebrate, because in the grand scheme of things, people will not remember how many times you failed. They are going to remember the victory more than that. So why should we care a lot about when we fail and how many times we fail? All we should be caring about is winning. And the other thing that Denzel Washington puts so simply is that every failed experiment is one step closer to success. Failure is inevitable. You will fail at some point in life, maybe even multiple times a day. You will lose, you will struggle. But the most important thing is that you don't quit. The key is always to get back up, keep pushing forward, and continue believing in yourself. Take the risk, step outside of your comfort zone. If you actually never fail, then you're not even trying to chase after success. Denzel shares a personal story actually about auditioning for a play and not getting the role. And then years later, in the same theater where he was, crushed, he is part of another play that wins him a Tony Award. Imagine if he had given up after the first rejection and refused to take on the next role. In the same place where he once failed, if he had allowed that place to become that sort of negative connotation, he wouldn't have been celebrated for the success that he had at the Tony Award. That's the power of persistence and having the right kind of mindset towards failure. You have the training and the talent and the skills, but do you have the guts to continue failing, to continue getting back up? Do you have the courage to take that shot even when you are unsure about the outcome? Within the talk, he points to so many things that I believe are words of wisdom, but the other thing that stood out for me was that to get something you never had, you have to do something you have never done. That's the element of risk. That's the not being unsure of the outcome. All these are all powerful illustrations that he uses to drive the point home. Failure is inevitable. You need to take risks. And if you fail, you need to push forward. You need to fail forward. He has this other one that he borrows from Les Brown, picturing yourself on your deathbed surrounded by the ghosts. But instead of these normal ghosts that we know, it's the ghosts of your untapped potential, the risks you didn't take, the dreams you let slip away, the yous you could have become. They could be a president next to you, they could be a minister next to you, they could be an inventor next to you, and all these are potentials that stand there disappointed because only you had the power to bring them to life, but you didn't. You half-assed it, you didn't go for it, you weren't bold, you weren't tenacious. So, without lecturing you, we are going to listen to a clip from this powerful talk. But as I sign off, I want you guys to be tenacious, to be bold. Do not fear failure. Learn from it. Fall down 7 times, get up 8, like he always says, because all you need to do is rise one more time than you fail. As long as you rise one more time than you fail, you are ahead of the game. So let's get into it and let's listen to Denzel Washington.
Fall forward. This is what I mean. Reggie Jackson struck out 2,600 times in his career, the most in the history of baseball. But you don't hear about the strikeouts. People remember the home runs. Fall forward. Thomas Edison conducted 1,000 failed experiments. Did you know that? I didn't know that. Because the 1,001st was the light bulb. Fall forward. Every failed experiment is one step closer to success. You've got to take risks, and I'm sure you've probably heard that before, but I want to talk to you about why that's so important. I got 3 reasons, and then you can pick up your iPhones. First, you will fail at some point in your life. Accept it. You will lose. You will embarrass yourself. You will suck at something. There's no doubt about it. And I know that's probably not a traditional message for a graduation ceremony, but hey, I'm telling you, embrace it, because it's inevitable. And I should know. In the acting business, you fail all the time. Early on in my career, I auditioned for a part in a Broadway musical. Perfect role for me, I thought, except for the fact that I can't sing. I didn't get the job. But here's the thing. I didn't quit. I didn't fall back. I walked out of there to prepare for the next audition, and the next audition, and the next audition. I prayed. I prayed, and I prayed. But I continued to fail, and fail, and fail. But it didn't matter, because you know what? There's an old saying, you hang around the barbershop long enough, sooner or later you're gonna get a haircut. So you will catch a break, and I did catch a break. Last year, I did a play called Fences on Broadway. So someone talked about it. Won the Tony Award. But here's the kicker. It was at the Court Theater. It was at the same theater that I failed that first audition 30 years prior. The point is, every graduate here today has the training and the talent to succeed. But do you have the guts to fail? Here's my second point about failure. If you don't fail, you're not even trying. I'll say it again. If you don't fail, you're not even trying. My wife told me this great expression. To get something you never had, you have to do something you never did. Les Brown's a motivational speaker. He made an analogy about this. He says, imagine you're on your deathbed, and standing around your deathbed are the ghosts representing your unfulfilled potential. The ghost of the ideas you never acted on. The ghost of the talents you didn't use. And they're standing around your bed, angry, disappointed, and upset. They say, we came to you because you could have brought us to life, they say. And now we have to go to the grave together. So I ask you today, how many ghosts are going to be around your bed when your time comes?
Well, I hope you enjoyed the episode, and I hope that we can make a pact today. In fact, let's make a pact today to fall forward, to embrace the setbacks as stepping stones, to never let the fear of failure hold us back from chasing that greatness. So, anyone that has found this episode to be helpful, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe for more motivational content. And as always, keep pushing. I'll see you in the next episode. My name is Raymond. Bye-bye.